The sharks in Sabah are under threat. What can be done to save them? Is there a way to save them? Or are we too late? Take the journey with us to find the answer. The journey to find the answer begins with the idyllic island of Mabul, a small island that has been a diver's paradise to some since the 90s and home for the fishing community since the 70s. It's famous internationally due to its proximity to Sipadan Island, and it is arguably one of the richest single destinations for exotic small marine life anywhere in the world. And let's not forget about the big one, sharks. Sadly, this image of the majestic apex predator will soon be a thing of the past because of this activity.
Mabul ni memang dari dahulu lagi memang terkenal dengan penduduk dia menangkap ikan hiu. Mungkin ada segelintir penduduk yang buat menangkap secara haram di kawasan ni. Jadi kita tidak lagi dapat lihat ikan-ikan hiu di sinilah.
Jeff is a well-known figure among villagers and tourists in Mabul, as he runs a budget resort and a diving center in the island for the last 19 years. And during that period, he has seen the number of sharks shrinking, and this, he thinks, will affect the number of tourists, namely divers, to the island.
Bagi orang biasa, hiu sesuatu yang nama ditakuti. Tetapi tidak. Sebenarnya hiu adalah sesuatu yang cantik di dasar laut dan menjadi tarikan untuk kami cari.
Sharks have roamed our oceans since before the time of dinosaurs, but their long reign at the top of the ocean food chain may be ending. The onset of industrial fishing over the past 60 years has drastically depleted their population. According to WWF, up to 73 million sharks are being killed every year to primarily support the global shark fin industry, valued for the Asian delicacy shark fin soup. In Mabul, there are activists who are trying to prevent the extinction of sharks and the consequences that comes with it.
The major consequences of taking any animal, targeting any animal in any ecosystem, is that you get what we call a cascade effect. So basically, if you remove all the tuna, then the things below it or the things above it are going to be affected in some way, negatively. Let's say with sharks, for example, if you remove them, their prey items would go out of control, which means that they may consume smaller items, which may affect, the phytoplanktons, the zooplanktons, the chemicals in the water, the concentrations of gases in the water.
For the time being, catching and finning a shark is not illegal in the eyes of Malaysian federal law. But let's not ignore the fact that fishermen in Mabul have to make a living to feed their family, and shark finning is a lucrative income for the locals in Mabul. And for Rohan, who has been working closely with the Sampurna Shark Sanctuary, he thinks that there's a need to find an alternative solution to help the locals.
Of course, fishing sharks is more lucrative than fishing tuna or other things like that. So that is definitely something we need to think about. But I understand it. I believe that we have to think of alternatives. But it's not a case of coming in and telling people what they can and can't do.
In Kota Kinabalu, shark fins are being sold openly in shops. The industry is lucrative because a bowl of shark fin soup can run as high as 250 ringgit, and the fin itself costing more than 1,000 ringgit. Shark fin soup has long played a central part in traditional Chinese culture, often being served at weddings and banquets. But one person found out how the shark fin soup were made off from a video sharing website, and it has made him swear off from the delicacy.
It's just a shock to me because as a Chinese, I think shark fin soup still tastes really good. When I found out more, it's not the fin. The fin have no taste, nothing. It's just, you know, some white gluey things. But whatever it is, the soup is actually made from a special broth like chicken, seafood, all this good stuff in it that makes the taste. It's not shark fin.
For the past 2 years, Kirk and his wife operates an awareness campaign to save the sharks through a social network platform called Save Our Sharks from a Bowl of Soup from his home in Kuala Lumpur. To date, the page he created has attracted more than 17,000 visitors. And apart from running a campaign through the internet, Kirk and his wife are also doing it in schools and shopping malls. So what is his prediction if the hunt for sharks continues?
It will create an imbalance in the ocean. When we come to imbalance, then the ecosystem might collapse. So when it collapses, so that's it. You know, it involves everything. Because, like I said, the marine ecosystem are the most important ecosystem on the planet. And when you put an imbalance, then you are putting everybody in risk.
Next, the glamorous wedding that didn't follow the tradition of serving shark fin soup to their guests. And a hotel that has pledged not to serve them. This is where your shark fin soup came from. They are slaughtered for their fins, and the sharks are unceremoniously being dumped back into the ocean. Shark fin soup is most often served at weddings. A glamorous wedding took place in the city recently, where the dashing groom and the beautiful bride made a difference. What kind of difference? Well, unlike other weddings, this newlywed couple made a pledge not to serve shark fin soup to their guests.
If you see 230 people in a wedding, a single wedding, and everyone consume a bowl or two of the shark fin, how many sharks have to die for just wedding? Shark fin is not a must in wedding, number one. Number two is that it's actually meant for good cause. So it's more on awareness that we're creating. So if they can bring this message back and to share with their own friends and family, and it will actually expand further from the idea from there. So it's actually helped a lot.
It comes as no surprise to hear that both husband and wife are avid underwater divers. Hence, their pledge not to have shark fin soup at their wedding. But what about their guests?
In fact, my family supported, and my husband's family supported, because more of us are divers, as in my family side and his family side. Majority of the people are divers, so everyone said, yeah, okay, you should do that. So we have good support from our side.
Shark fin, like a brand name, is known as a conspicuous consumption product. That means it is served as a public display of social status. And for Joey, it was all due to the way how they were taught since young.
What happened is that it's actually the brought up of Chinese. So from your mother or great-grandmother generation, they'll tell you, hey, this is expensive food, so finish it, and it's very precious and it's hard to get. So people will have a mindset, and it's instilled in them since young that, hey, this is expensive food, so you ought to have that.
While other Asian countries, such as Singapore and Hong Kong, has already started saying no to the delicacy. A growing number of restaurants and hotels in Malaysia have also joined in the cause to stop selling shark fin soup. One of them is Shangri-La Hotel in Kuala Lumpur. They stopped serving shark fin soup in December 2010 in conjunction with their sustainable seafood policy. However, the decision did make some dent in their profit in the early stage.
Shark fin actually represent a very substantial amount of our profit, which comes from the banqueting service. But of course, we feel that we must make a very firm commitment.
At the beginning, we do have some effect, but after some time, because later on we have take a recovery action by providing some premium soup, like for example the monk jump over the wall.
Monk Jump Over the Wall is an example of one of the premium soups they have come up with to replace shark fin soup.
Yeah, the ingredients we have black chicken, mushroom, some of the Chinese herbs. Then the dry scallop, fish maw, a whole piece of sea cucumber, and then let's put the abalone on top.
Once all the ingredients are combined, the bowl of soup will be placed in a steamer.
It takes 1 hour to steam it, and then all the flavor of the dry seafood come out and then mash together with the soup. It will be very nice.
This dish may look simple, but it is an alternative, and it could be the key to saving our sharks. The action taken by Shangri-La Hotel to stop serving shark fin soup is praised by many and followed by other hotels and restaurants. But the effect from rampant hunting of sharks for their fins has already made its presence in the local waters.
Dulu memang betul kita boleh lihat ikan hiu boleh katakan setiap kali diving kita boleh jumpa paling tidak 1 ekor ikan hiu lah.
The absence of sharks in the area of Sipadan and Mabul does pose a question. Will it have an immediate effect on the ecosystems?
A direct effect on the ecosystem right now, not so much. I think in maybe 10 years, definitely that's, 10, 15, 20 years, that'll definitely be the case.
Our sources have shared this secretly filmed visual of shark finning in Mabul. The practice of shark finning, which is removing the shark's fins and dumping the remainder of the animal back into the sea, is depleting the ocean's shark population by 100 to 150 million sharks every year. Sharks mature and reach their reproductive age slowly and produce few young, making some species of sharks vulnerable to the increasing carnage. Visuals like this are disheartening to watch. In the quest to find out whether our sharks can still be saved, is there any hope for them still? There is education and public service announcements out there done to save the sharks.
The FDA recommends that children should avoid consuming shark.
Mercury can also cause sterility in men.
想要当个真正的男人，就不要吃鱼翅。为什么呢？鱼翅的水银成分非常高，吃多了累积在身体里面，就对身体不好，没有幸福的哦。
Sharks are still one of the most misunderstood creatures in the world.
Well, I think it's a shame that it's going on and people are still buying it, because I guess as long as there's a demand, people will continue to fin sharks, and the method of doing it is quite barbaric, so it's a shame. I wish Sabah would do something about it.
And Sabah depends on their tourism industry here. It's about 200 over million, according to our Minister of Tourism, based on diving alone. Yeah, and we need to keep that tourism alive, the diving tourism, yeah. And this industry employs a lot of Sabahans here, yeah. So if this industry collapses, a lot of Sabahans will be out of job.
As sensational as shark attacks are in news reports, the reality is that a person is more likely to be bitten by another person than a shark. Yet, this magnificent animal is being hunted for their fin to cater to some people's appetite. Earlier this year, the Sabah government has made a move to ban the hunting and finning of sharks under its wildlife conservation laws. The penalties are 3 years in prison or fined up to 30,000 ringgit. However, there are still loopholes in the law because it is not illegal under Malaysian federal law. The Sabah government is trying to foolproof this by making it illegal under the Fisheries Act of 1985. Yet from what we saw, it's clear the enforcement of the law in Sabah is lacking. The shark fins can still be found in shops in Kota Kinabalu, and shark finning activities are being done openly in Mabul. The reason why it is still not enforced strongly is because many people will lose their income, like the fishermen of Mabul.
You can't just stop shark finning right away because you have people to think of. We can't keep fishing shark because we have tourism and the ecosystem to think of. So the government really is thinking of ways now to back things like the Semporna Shark Sanctuary, creating marine protected areas, or MPAs, like obviously Sipadan is a perfect example. So at the moment the government is definitely looking at ways to make that balance, to find that balance. And one of the major ways that they're looking at, of course, is marine protected areas or sanctuaries.
We asked Rohan if he had the power to save the shark, what would be his solution?
We can create, or there can be created an area where you benefit everybody. You create an area where you're protecting the natural environment. I don't just mean sharks, I mean turtles and waste management and things like that. And an area that is so unique like this, that is protected for the marine ecosystems, the terrestrial ecosystems, but also it's a place protected by and for the local communities.
From what we have seen so far, much more needs to be done to save the sharks. From the kitchens of a posh hotel, to find alternative incomes for local fishermen. If we don't find a sustainable solution soon, this could be the last time you'll be seeing our sharks.